60% of college and university students are female. With more women getting degrees than males, how will this affect dating trends in the future? I'm Angela Hoyos for Ryerson TV, and I'm joined now with Fay Reznic, who's a second-year business management student who did a study on this topic. Fay, thank you for being here today.
No worries.
Now, can you expand a little bit on this study that you did and what prompted you to want to take on this project?
So what the study was we basically looked at how was the dating paradigm sort of changing now that women are getting higher levels of education, and now that women are they're getting better jobs and earning more money than men. And so we wanted to look at this because women are getting higher levels of education, because it's sort of evident that something must be changing, that something must be different. And so how is the dating scene changing because of this?
Now, what did you find in terms of your surveys and when you interviewed your subjects?
So what we found was that it is actually changing. Women are getting higher levels of education, and when we did some surveys online, and we asked some married participants and we asked some single participants to sort of give their responses on how they felt, how important education was for them, and whether or not they valued someone with a higher level of education, someone with a lower level of education, whether it mattered. And we found that participants who were single, which was mostly students, they said that education is more important to them, and it's important to them who their partner is, whether or not their partner has a higher level of education. Whereas participants who are already married, so it's older couples, and they've been established, and so they said it's not as important to them. So we found that because education is becoming is more accessible,
right,
it's more important for younger couples now to find somebody who is at their level of education.
Now, where do you think this shift has stemmed from? Because before academia, being in university was a very male-dominated field. So what has happened that women are taking over? That there are 60% of us here at Ryerson per se.
Yeah.
Where are all the men at?
I think it's mostly. I don't think that the men have really disappeared. I think it's just sort of that women are sort of given the chance, as opposed to when women were sort of downplayed and stay at home, and now it's more emphasized that yes, ladies, let's go, be out there, get your jobs, go to school, get an education, sort of do what you want. You're not constrained anymore as you were in the past. And so I think that's what sort of prompted more women to go into university, because it's sort of like they're being encouraged now as opposed to discouraged in the past. Whereas the men, there's no real emphasis on men need to also get an education. They've always sort of known this, so nothing's really changed with them, I think.
Now, in your study, did you touch upon income? So per se, a female with a bachelor's degree and she's dating someone in a trade, if the male's making more than her in this trade than she is as a university graduate, does this impact the relationship? Does it make it easier?
Not really. I mean, the only thing we really sort of found was that if a woman is making more than her partner in the relationship, what happens is he's actually 5 times more likely to cheat on her because of this. So it's sort of that men are sort of maybe feeling a little insecure about this. They can't really understand the fact that a woman is making more money than them, that she's higher educated than them. She's sort of higher up in the social status than they are. So, yeah.
Now, do you think that the gender roles are going to continue to shift? If you could just tell us very briefly, where do you think the trend's going to take us?
I think that right now it's sort of difficult. It's sort of, as I said, it's sort of difficult for the dating paradigm to sort of keep up with this, because women have sort of gotten higher levels of education so fast, so many women in such a short amount of time, that relationships and people, they can't really keep up with this. They're sort of not sure what to do, how to proceed. Men are still sort of uncomfortable because it's so strange that it all happens so fast.
Well, thank you so much, Faye. This is a topic that we can sit here and chat on forever, but for the full story, please check out our website, ryersonian.ca. I'm Angela Hoyos.